Hello, YouTube. Today is a little bit of a fun one that I've had a couple people ask me about in the past, and that's Alliance War placement strategies. And so, well, we still got 42 minutes or so before attack phase begins. I thought I'd go over my ideas, why I place what I place, and who I decide to put where, and um, I kind of like to change up the meta, so I don't like to always throw in magic as the boss here, or anything like that. It really depends on what's going on, I guess. Like, who's gotten a lot of more defender kills lately or not, and so, yeah. Flickering. Stop that. Alright, anyways. Now, one of the things I like to look at is how often I've been screwed over or hurt by a certain champion's ability, and I'll decide to place them somewhere. Like, for instance, Enhanced Special 1. It's not as hard as, say, Yellow Jackets to dex the Special 1, but if you don't hit Iceman right, if you dex a little bit too early, you're gonna dex the first part of his Special 1, and if you miss it, he's gonna hit you with that last little bit, and that's just gonna hurt. Regardless, it's gonna put a cold snap on you, and possibly his passive ability. And so I'm looking at 45% armor. I usually go back and forth between Red Skull and Iron Man Infinity War, because it seems like every other war people are either really good at fighting Iron Man Infinity War, or they're really bad at fighting him. So yeah, and another thing I do is like the abilities nodes. I would argue that Hyperion is way better on that than a power gain node, because, Scarlet Witch or whatever, I have better luck getting power lock or power steal in, like, say, these middle paths here. Increase power gain by 50%. I can usually track those down pretty well, or track his power down pretty well. But like an ability node, I gotta get pretty lucky with my crits and nullifying and doing power steal, so he can be a bad bitch on there. And then, I mean, honestly, Domino, you're increasing her pretty much her signature ability, just damage output, that energy damage from when your ability fails to proc, and just a 20% increase on top of hers to stop yours from happening. That's gonna hurt like a son of a bitch. Yeah. Let's see here. Generates power striking a block target. Almost any 5-star with potential to do damage is gonna be great there. Especially in Agent Venom. Or a Magic. She's great on that node too. Sometimes I'll put my Iceman as the boss node, just because, with his ice armor being duped, his ice armor refreshes faster, and it starts off with that cold snap. So, you bring in an Iron Man Infinity War, and you're probably going to be set, because, with armor charges, he's immune to cold snap. But it's still, I've gotten a fair amount of kills, defender kills with him, and Magic is just, I don't know if BJR has a Mystic Dispersion mastery is what I'm looking for, because that just, getting I want to say it's 2 or 5%, you get a percent of your power every time a buff expires on you, if I remember that right. Still, it just means more power. And I remember one war where I got destroyed by Magic, because every single time she hit her Special 1, it procced her Limbo. And There's not much you can do about that. So Ultron, his special 2, if you're not good at dexing it, hurts like a son of a bitch. And I still mess up dexing his special 2. It's that double dash back real fast. And sometimes, he'll hit you with that double energy shot, and then you can dex out of that second part where he does an uppercut. But if it's unblockable, you're kind of screwed either way. Obviously, putting him on Korg on special 1. No, Jesus. It's so laggy whenever I screen mirror. That looked at. But, yeah. Sentinel, he's great. He's got so much versatility and so many nodes because his, ability to analyze fights over long periods of time. And Larnock here's got a 455 5-star, so putting him on a power gain node is just going to be a pain, because I still get messed up by his special 1, but lately I've been able to come back at it. Because you remember a couple weeks ago where they had that issue of his special 1, refreshing faster than it should have. So, but anyways, moving on. He is great on an armor node or something, but honestly, if you have Iron Man Infinity War or something, what is... Oh, armor up. See? We got a couple more people placed. I'm actually going to put him there. So he's just gonna, especially if the fight lasts for a long time, which it probably will. If you get up to 100 analyze charges or whatever they are, he gets all that armor and it just reduces your ability to do damage on him. So he is a great fit there. And then a maxed out 4-star Quake on the power gain node. Yeah, if she keeps hitting people with that special 1, which isn't hard to dex, but it's very tiny. And so if she hits your block or whatever, if you don't dex it perfectly, you're getting 2 charges on you. I like to put a duped Korg. There's not a huge difference between like duped Korg and a regular Korg, but if TX gets his Korg ranked up another level, I would swap it out for Schmalz. What else? Look at here. I don't really fuck with all the nodes here at the front too often. Usually if people just kind of place there, I sort of let them. More or less, I see it as a training tool. Like, hey, you analyze these nodes and you decide where to put them. And then I'll tell you whether they're, it's good or bad. But that's why I kind of wanted to do an actual, like, video and run, like, my thought process through this. And it's, I bounce all over the place. I'm not very, let's go node by node and who goes where. I bounce all over the damn place. But that's just me. So, I like putting Killmonger on the immune to bleed and poison, just because he doesn't need a signature ability to be fantastic. His special 1, I have put him on an unblockable because it's just, again, for me, it's always a personal approach for nodes like this, or for war nodes, is if I fight Killmonger or something and he's got an unblockable special 1, I tend to mess up on the first one. I can dex the second knife throw and then him coming in for the slam jump, whatever you want to call that, where he goes up in the air and bam. But yeah, there was in the epic fight for Ebony Maws, was where you get the stones, from completing all 4 paths. I believe on the most recent one, the Power Stone, there was a 6-star Killmonger, and he didn't have an unblockable special 1, but he used his special 1 a lot, and I kept trying to dex that, and I would definitely fuck up a couple of times, and it would hurt. And then also, anyways, I think I got a little bit off track. Having Killmonger on a immune to bleed and immune to poison is great because he has, I think, before putting on a node, like 24,000 health, and then this node gives him 75% of. So he's a rockin' beast. He's got 75% of 24,000. I don't know, 35,000 health now, which isn't insane. I mean, we all take on bosses like that all the time, but when you're in a timed fight, what is with the screen flickering? It was not doing this the other day. I'm gonna have to figure that shit out. Yeah. Got off topic again. Son of a bitch. Train of thought. Yeah. Anyways, he is a pain in the ass because he just gets a lot of health. He's got good armor. And his special one, you can't hit his block because it just makes him unstoppable for 2 seconds or whatever, and then he can just come back at you, and he's got decent bleed rates. And then his special 2 makes him immune for 3 hits. So, getting him armor on there, that Red Skull, because even knowing how to fight him, I still go in for that hit to hit the block to try and trigger a parry, and you know, with such a high rating, he's just gonna hurt. Yeah. Putting an Iron Man Infinity War, it's always a toss-up between putting him on an armor node or not. Let's see, I gotta zoom in because these geniuses at Kabam don't separate titles or the tiles enough. Half the time I click on someone's name. But getting Fury armor up and health steal as long as he remains above 75% HP, always great. I never put MODOK on a boss node anymore because a lot of people have a 4-star and now a 5-star blade, especially with that in February we got that blade crystal. A lot of people got blade from that. That was a pretty great, that was like, what, 20% chance for a blade? Like, you know, even I tried for that. Even at the time I was saving for, you can find the video, it's a couple videos back. Yes, I know, 30 minutes. Where I opened 5-star featured crystals. I was gonna open 6, but I tried for the blade. Anyways, blade just destroys MODOK, like pretty much reduces his ability accuracy to 0 for his protective shield. So, I mean, the last war I did, it was like an 86 hit win against MODOK. I took 0 hits. He was the boss, and I would just do a parry, wait for a heavy attack, go in, save up to my special 2, and I would get 6 to 9 bleeds every single time. And then I would just crank up on the power gain again, and dex his special 2, which is a lot easier to dex than his special 1, in my opinion. Yeah, so I destroy MODOKs with my 5-star blade. He's not even duped, but I just cream it. You know what I'm wondering? It's got to be the war setting, because I don't get these screen flickers. I don't know if you guys can see them or not. I'm getting major screen flickers watching a screen mirroring here. I didn't see that before the last update, but I've also never done a video where I'm looking at the war screen, and this is refreshing a lot. Anyways, yeah, I don't mess with these lower nodes too much. Generally, I'll take an hour to sit down and go through Battle Group 1, 2, and 3. So we've gotten a couple more people to place here in Battle Group 1. 5-star Hyperion. Yeah, he's a little bit of a meta to place as a boss, but guaranteed boss kills. Unless, you know, you just get those lucky games or whatever where... I mean, I've taken my Scarlet Witch against a 5-star Hyperion as a boss and just got lucky with my crits and proccing abilities. and it just kept him at either power lock, power steal, or nullify his power gain, and just watch him use those specials. You can get pretty lucky with Spider-Man, Stark Spidey. With that taunt, he's more likely to use the special 1, the special 2, and then Spidey's evade chance. Just don't get hit. But I mean, that only affects your evade chance because it removes that AI getting hit by a cosmic. But if Korvax here dupes his 5-star Emma Frost, that's gonna be a lot of kills because that inverting every time she does a special attack is just, it's a pain. I've gotten quite good at it, but I remember there was that event quest where she was first introduced, and I got pretty mad at Kabam there a couple times because I don't mind fighting stuff like that. I just hated how even in Master I'm going up against with duped 5 stars, and you know, my Stark Spidey 455, and he was just still getting one shot by her in Master. I'm like, Uncollected, I get it. She's sitting at 32,000 rating, duped and everything. Like, I get she's got cool buffs on her and everything. It's an uncollected boss. That's fine. Not Master. That's the reason I have a 455 is usually to withstand stuff like that. So that was a pretty BS month in my opinion. But she's a bad bitch. Now, let's see. So, generates power striking a block target. A meta is definitely using magic. But again, if you have Blade, he severely reduces ability accuracy, especially against Mystics, and then with Ghost Rider, all villains. So, I use Blade for so much in this game. He's easily in my top 5 champs. Like, no contest. He's always going to sit up there. So I'll use him against magic, and even on a power gain node or an ability node, I do quite a bit of damage against. I'm never really worried about fighting magics or Modocs anymore. So with a couple new additions, you know, I might add. We're gonna swap them real quick, because I want stronger in the back. I want to whittle down, like with this first Iron Man Infinity War, I want to whittle down anybody who fights him, because, you know, if you mess up, you're going to lose a little bit of health, and then you're going to have to fight a tougher one later on, and then an even tougher one further down the line on an armor node. So, you know, if I get into later wars where diversity becomes an issue, because diversity is meant to be a tiebreaker. If all alliances, all battle groups complete, all lanes, and people have minimal deaths, or really good defender attacker ratings and scores, it's, you know, defender diversity is meant to be a tiebreaker with that sort of thing. So I'm not too worried about having all of these Iron Man Infinity Wars, because I'm going to push doing that sort of thing. Like, you know, if everyone on your team has a really good Iron Man Infinity War who's duped, I say keep throwing them in there. Like, why not? It's until Kabam actually comes up with a decent setup and, like, rotating nodes on all tiers of maps, because with this last couple Alliance seasons and maps, these nodes have not changed for lower tiers. I can't really speak for, you know, platinum tiers or anything. I think they have, but I don't fuck with platinum tiers. I fuck with gold and silver. Those are the ones I care about. These nodes haven't changed, and that's why they're so meta. If they were rotating or random, like if there were only certain nodes, like the boss node should be the only set node. Everything else, I think, should rotate. At least at random. That way you're not having I'm always gonna set, you know, this Iron Man, TJ's Iron Man on this node. It's either Iron Man or Red Skull. That's who I'm always going to place there. You know, in abilities nodes, I'm always going to have a Domino on one of those nodes. And a Nightcrawler, always a good option to set down there. I saw a better one. Because since they fixed that thing where you could get him to change by when he dashed back and you just hit a light attack and waited for him to change, that was great because it didn't always work. You know, it's sometimes the AI just wouldn't dash back and you wouldn't hit it at the right time and you just had to try and go an entire fight. You know, I fought Nightcrawler all the damn time that way and I would still mess up because it's not a, you know, it's not an exact science. And a 15,000 rated Nightcrawler, even if you get him to transition, he can still hit you. You can still fuck up. And that's just gonna hurt, especially with those crits. And you're not a robot, or Luke Cage. That's gonna be, that deep wounds thing or whatever he has. That's gonna hurt. So let's see about moving some of these new people. I think this is an armor. Yeah, see, that's an armor node, so I might actually move him down there. What is this one? Okay. That's a 6-star. I want to put him, like, at least I'll move him right there because he cycles between physical and energy resistance every 8 seconds. So, every 16 seconds it's gonna go back to a physical resistance, and he just has a shitload of health. You're just gonna have to whittle that down, and if you're not prepared for it, or you don't have good armor break or anything like that, that physical resistance is just going to reduce your damage output, and you're either going to time out the fight and lose half the remaining health on your champion, or you're barely going to win the fight. So, always like putting, I'll generally try and put an Old Man Logan or someone like that, because again, I'll use Blade for Mephisto, because those 3 charges that he uses to regenerate his health and Aura of Incineration, Blade damn near nullifies both of those. So, I mean, and it's per charge. So you might get the first regeneration charge off of Mephisto with Blade, and then the next 2 and then 3 probably won't proc at all. I've playing against Mephistos for so long, in war, questing, story quest, anything like that, I've never, this will probably, next time I play against him, it'll probably happen, but I've never had all 3 regeneration, or like all 3 of his charges, proc when playing him with Blade, or using Blade against him. I've never had all 3 proc, one right after the other. So, I mean, this is a pretty decent setup. It's not the strongest, but who are we going to put on there? Because I believe that's power of striking a block target. Yeah. He's on an immune to bleed. Okay, and he's already poison immune, so that's going to be a pain in the ass. Wasp can be good here on a immune to bleed and poison, just because she has that chance to that evade unless she does a heavy attack or a special attack. And if you can't make her bleed, whittle her down through those abilities, it's just being a 5 or even like, you have a 6-star? Probably. Most of the 6-star pool is trash, but she would be a fun get. About halfway to my next 6-star, so yay! Let's hope it's not Hulkbuster again, otherwise I'm gonna beat somebody's ass. Hey, you, Mike. Meanie head. Who are we gonna put? So I think who would benefit from a high amount of like power gain. Now, if Morningstar was duped, I would put her, because you don't want her to keep hitting your block and gaining power, so you keep trying to keep her in a corner, and if she's duped, you got that chance to bleed off of like critical hits or something. So she would be a good option there. Actually, I think I'm going to put Nightcrawler there, because that's going to be an issue for them. Put him on a Fury armor up and health steal above below 25%, so that's just kind of nice, a little last call sort of deal. I'll put him on 100% health node, because with that glancing blow and everything, That's just gonna 50% attack and health. See, here's the debate I get into now. With how much health this 6-star has, do I keep him on an energy resistance or energy and physical resistance, or do I put him on a 150% node, 150% like health? So I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna put him there. Yeah, see how much his rating jumped up? That's just because of that increase in health. Like, he's gonna be a pain in the ass to fight. Okay. There we go. So I think I'm pretty okay with that. Yeah, that Nick Fury right there. Dude, he's got some savage bleeds on him. Alright, how much are we running? Woof. Alright, let's try and keep this video under a half hour, because I feel like no one's gonna sit here and watch it for that long. I don't want to keep Captain America as the boss. I don't want to do that. Because, while he does do a high damage output, especially with his glancing blows, I want to keep Corvus Glaive being duped. Now he's immune to, like, bleed and stuff like that, because his glaive is active. He can't die. So even if you get him down, he still has charges active down to 1% health. You're still gonna have to keep hitting him until all those charges are gone. And if you bring in an Avenger, no, that's only if he has charges up. Still, with his damage output, if a 5-star duped Corvus hits you, especially having, 500% health and then 75% attack and health. Yeah, attacks ignore armor and evasion with a combo of 15 or more. So if you're playing the long game and he hits you just enough times, you're even more screwed. So I like having Corvus. I think he does a better job other than Captain America Infinity War. Why am I bugging on these names all of a sudden? Anyways, so yeah, looking at this, I've already kind of gone through this once before. I think somebody moved around at Corvus and Captain America Infinity War. But yeah, I'm liking this. 15 minutes until war starts. I think we can do that pretty well. Yeah, look at that yellow jacket on that node right there. If he uses his special one, that's gonna be a cold day in hell. Got the thing up here, more likely to use special 1. That's fine. His special 3 hurts like a mofo. More likely to use, or special 2 is unblockable. If he's got those glancing charges and it's a crit, that 5-star Captain America it's probably gonna just do a one-shot. Like, even my 4-star 550 is just gonna melt. Like, I just cream people with that special too. Like, I think the best I got was like a 29k crit with a 4-star, and that was only with 3 glancing charges, like not even 5. Still, yeah, I think this is a pretty decent setup. Yeah. See, yeah, we're gonna swap these guys though, because I want that Ultron to have that regeneration ability. So we put this increase off power gain by 50%. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna swap these two because Cable, his ability, proc when he hits power bars, so that's just gonna help. All right. Why don't we armor? We swap you two for that armor node, and then we put him there. We Keep that 5-star over there. Yes. Okay. That's awesome. Now, which one's this? Chance to inflict stun. Oof. No, let's swap these out. No, I want to swap them. There we go. Okay. Alright, when damaged by a special attack. Bam! Alright, so let's try this out and see how we go. Anyways, that's right at about a half hour, so at least that's how I go through war strategies and placement. Is just kind of what have you been screwed over by, what has hurt you in the past, and pull from that. Like, oh, that's a pain in the ass special one to dodge, so I'm going to put Yellow Jacket. No, I'm going to put Yellow Jacket on an unblockable special one. Fantastic, because being duped, it's either going to stun you or use your special to not get stunned. It's going to do a power sting and take away a good portion of your health. So that's that, and yeah, good luck to all you guys in the next war season that has been delayed again, as if they ever started on time. Anyways, have a fantastic rest of your Monday, and peace out.